Expectations abound for the defensive line in 2023 for the Dallas Cowboys. Plus, get an inside look at the first-team offense and Dak Prescott trying the deep ball for the first time in training camp this time around. All that and more on Training Camp Live, presented by American Airlines. Welcome back to another edition of Training Camp Live, presented by American Airlines. On the sidelines here in Oxnard, California, Mickey Spagnola. I'm Kyle Yeomans. Mickey, let's take a look at some of these defensive linemen. This is a part of the Dallas Cowboys that, of course, has some talent, but also some intrigue going into 23.
Yeah, absolutely, and they've worked very hard, I think, to improve the size on that defensive line by drafting Mazi Smith in the first round, re-signing Jonathan Hankins, and you know, on the few occasions we've seen so far with those guys lined up next to each other, side by side at defensive tackle, they take up a lot of space, and I think that was the idea.
And they don't really, they don't have the pads on yet, so we're not even at full size
right.
yet. We've got to level up from here, going from there. Now we've got, this is a fun group of some young talent, some young players. You've got Viliami Fehoko on one side, Sam Williams on the far side, Mazi Smith right there in the middle, and then Isaiah Land, the undrafted free agent rookie out of Florida A&M. So having these four guys go up against each other, all either rookies, and then Sam Williams as a second-year player, there's a lot of talent up there.
Yeah, no, there is, and I think that they're going to have a little bit of a problem trying to cut down the roster on the defensive line. There is a lot of talent there. There's guys that have been there, earned their spot, and then there's some new guys that are going to challenge them. So, you know, if they can get away with it, it might end up being a pretty talented practice squad.
And correction, on the far side, that was, I thought it was said 54.
Right. No,
it was 94, which has been Banigou, the former TCU prospect that the Cowboys signed from Indianapolis this offseason. He's got some size.
I walked by him today in the parking lot when I was walking here, and I was like, got a basketball player? What's the deal here? And then I realized that's who it was.
You got Jonathan Hankins. Oh, he jumped off sides a little bit, so Hankins will have everybody back up. You get your first look at Isaac Alarcon going in as a defensive tackle. Of course, he spent a lot of time at guard these last couple of years on the offensive line, at tackle as well. So now he switches to the defensive side. You've got the coaches, Adam Dirty, defensive line coach, assistant defensive line coach Sharif Floyd, currently running this drill. What are you looking for here in this specific drill? Is this just get off and knowing where to
actually,
be?
and paying attention to the snap, not jumping the snap, right? And those are the, I think from a defensive standpoint, the worst penalties, because you can see the ball, right? And almost, right?
Almost.
No excuse for jumping offside, but I know what guys are trying to do. They're trying to get that extra half a step and be right on the snap count, and you got to be able to be disciplined out there. But that's kind of what this is, and not only that, but it also is somewhat of, I don't know, a conditioning drill.
Sure.
They're going 10 yards every time.
So now as we switch fields, we go into team drills. We just got a chance to see the defensive line. We'll get a great look at it here. This is the number one offense going up against the number one defense, actually scattered throughout. Dak Prescott back behind center, even Tony Pollard behind the line of scrimmage against this defensive line. We just got a great look at Dak in the flats. That quick completion to the far side and a nice move on the opposite side from Peyton Hendershot, getting the tight ends working early.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, those are guys that are going to get a heck of an opportunity to earn more snaps at the tight end position with Dalton Schultz now gone. And between him and Ferguson, you know, this is kind of, okay, let's go. Let's see what you got.
Now Rico Dowdle in and running back with Dak, of course, behind center. 4 wide outs to start. Good rush off the edge from Micah. Brought some pressure. He wants the long ball, and it's intercepted. Nahshon Wright over the top to make the pick. You can see the excitement from the defense, too.
And that's pretty good coverage on Jalen. It's Jalen Tolbert, right? It was 18?
Yeah, it was Tolbert that was the intended target, but Nahshon went up to get it.
Well, the good thing was not only was he with them, but he had inside positioning. So the only way that ball can have been caught if it was thrown to the outside down the sideline. That's a good job by Wright.
One of the first times we've seen Dak really air it out in the team drills yesterday. They really kept everything underneath. They didn't want to push it too much, but he uncorked that one, and it ended up in Nahshon Wright's hands. There's a handoff to the far side for Malik Davis, and Davis actually made a nice cut. It hit the hole, never got touched until he had about 6 yards under his belt.
And you know what? We saw a lot from him last year, the opportunities he had, and I really like him. Now, he and I think Mike McCarthy's pointed that out. You know, he's not Ezekiel Elliott. He's not going to do the same things for you that Zeke did, but they can want to carve out a role for him, and then they're going to see what Ronald Jones can do, and he's in there right now.
So Cooper Rush now at quarterback. John Stevens is out wide as the tight end lined up. 2 tight ends set, actually, as they've got Seth Green on the other side. There's John Stevens. That throw a little bit behind Stevens. He almost came up with the grab. He was hit hard, though, prior to that, and the ball jarred loose.
Wanye Thomas, nice job by him.
Stayed over the top and did a great job.
That was a guy that was on the practice squad last year, but, you know, if you remember back to training camp, he was getting opportunities. They really liked what he was able to do.
Defense with a leg up here in the early going of full team drills. I want to watch Junior Fehoko on this rep. Number 93 to the left-hand side. Let's zoom in on him. They actually went his direction on the screen, so he could have made a tackle there. Davis makes the cut and gets out of trouble. What do you expect out of a 4th-round rookie from San Jose State and Viliami Fehoko? You bring him into a really crowded defensive line room, but
yeah, what we were talking about over watching the drills on that defensive line. Now, I would imagine what he's trying to do is break into some sort of rotation to get some snaps, to earn some snaps during the game, sort of the way Sam Williams did last year. You know, the snaps he got was about 25% last year, but they were very productive. And I would imagine that's what they're looking for from Fehoko, at least as a rookie.
Got around the edge
and the thing we got to emphasize, too, with these guys, it's not all about the pass rush. You got to be able to play the run.
Yes.
And that was a problem the Cowboys had last year. You know, sometimes you get all these guys that think they're pass rushers. Okay, fine, but you got to earn the right to rush the quarterback, and you got to be able to stop the run. And I think that has to be a priority. Unfortunately, in these non-padded practices, it's hard to practice your run defense.
Especially in the trenches, no doubt about it. Toss back to Tony Pollard. Jaron Kearse got upended before things really got going.
Did I write on my notes from the press conference that Pollard and Steele weren't going to participate in 11-on-11?
Oops,
Pollard's out there.
I don't see. I think Terrence is out there as well on the far side.
Steele out there.
Yeah, that's him on the right tackle spot too.
Guess they didn't tell the head coach, the offensive coordinator, what was going on.
Good to see both of them out there.
No, and and they don't look like they're laboring or anything.
Dak on the rollout hits Jake Ferguson. Kelvin Joseph was in a great position to make a tackle, and this, I mean, no doubt about it, is a make-or-break camp for Kelvin Joseph with a lot of that young talent at corner.
Well, absolutely, and you know they've moved him into the slot as a nickel corner. Gosh, when you watch him, he's got the speed. He's got to be able to the hip flex to play that position. Now he's just got to know what to do. And be able to read what those receivers are doing coming off the line of scrimmage. The guy just hasn't played enough football to me, and that goes back to college, right?
A lot of communication on the defensive side as they connect outside to CD. Brandon Cooks was trying to hold a block on Malik Hooker coming down from the safety position. CD went and snuck underneath it. That would have been tough for him to break that tackle and then break free, but still a quick completion. That's really what we've seen through these first 2 days. Not a whole lot of pads, not a whole lot of deep ball, but just getting a rhythm with these receivers and allowing Dak Prescott to throw the ball around.
And I think the other thing that if everybody's listening to Mike McCarthy is the execution.
Yeah.
That these guys run these routes accurately, and if a guy's on the outside supposed to be blocking, then get your blocks done.
Great rush there from Dorrance Armstrong. Jalen Tolbert with a reception over the middle. Kearse would have been there to contest should the pass have been on. And that was just really a great look at this first team offense, really for the first time, getting to see them go up against this defense. They're going to rotate in the twos here, and running with the twos is Will Greer. Big training camp for him. Same thing with Simi Fehoko, who's off into his left. What do you expect here out of the number two offense?
Yeah, I think what you're mostly looking for is guys that can elevate their play well enough to be backups on the offensive line. And I think that's a position where the Cowboys have to restock. We know you're not going to get through the entire season with guys, all your starters out there. So they need guys to prove that they're capable of being the backup offensive tackle. Although I think the backup offensive tackle is probably Tyler Smith, right? And then you're saying, okay, but then who's the guard?
Yep.
And I think there's some inside guys that have to really show what they can do.
A little motion. Greer going to look that direction, in and out of the hands. I believe that's Jalen Moreno-Cropper who dropped the pass.
No. Yes. The first thing I saw was Tristan Vizcaino.
That's not going to be who dropped the pass.
But they have double 16s out there. Although, that's how the interception occurred yesterday.
No doubt.
With Eric Scott in the right position at cornerback, and it was a pass off Simi Fehoko hands that ended up being intercepted.
So Greer with the handoff. There's Deuce Vaughn. You can see how quickly he can attack the hole.
Not only is he quick, but he sees the hole. He has this ability to hit the hole instantly. And again, everybody thinks he's kind of a gimmick running back, but at K-State he ran between the tackles.
Oh yeah.
Sort of like what he just did right there.
Excited to see him in the preseason whenever there's full contact,
right.
Full tackle, allowing him to really uncork his ability to break through those holes and get a really good look at Deuce Vaughn is going to be exceptionally fun. Let's see what Will Greer has in store. We'll hold on for another 2 plays here. Greer rolling out, and that one completed. Princeton Fant, I believe.
It was 47.
Still getting used to these rosters. Seth Green was the nice reception.
Fant's 48. I've been trying to work on that.
So that actually will be the last play we'll see. All right, Mickey, so I tried to fit one more play in there. It didn't work out. We only got one more play. But what are your early impressions here of practice number 2?
Yeah, I think the speed of the practice kind of stands out, that they've got a really nice pace to it. It seems to be crisp, and again, we just have to qualify it. They're not in pads.
Sure.
But what you want to see in these practices is the execution. Everybody doing what they're supposed to do. Now, you got to get to the point where everybody doing what they're supposed to do and doing it well, right? But at least guys seem organized, so I think that's a step in the right direction.
That's a huge piece of these early practices, is making sure everybody's on the same page. You and I are on the same page.
Exactly.
Going into Training Camp Live, we'll make sure that they're doing the same on the field. For Mickey Spagnola, for Alex Lilly behind the camera, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long for Training Camp Live, presented by American Airlines. We'll see you on Saturday.